Have you ever asked yourself what that myth about the dirty old man behind the clouds is about? Who seems to go to the gym twice a day? What is his purpose and job, and what is he up to? And what is our role in the game? He knows everything, he sees everything, and he seems to have an inferiority complex because he gets angry when we don't fulfill his expectations. And he needs others to behave in a certain way for him to be happy. Does that ring a bell? Is he really that imperfect and flawed as us humans? Does he look like this? Or this? Or this? Other names he also has are Manitou, Konkashila, Wakantanka, the Great Spirit, Brahman, the Creator, and one that has been completely distorted by many world religions in order to mislead us. I actually avoid using that word because many people roll their eyes, similar to when I say the word love. So, back to being serious again. I'm really happy that you're joining me at probably one of the most important videos I've ever done in my life. Because this question about what this power, force or energy in the background really is was accompanying me for all my life. And in the end I've gotten to a conclusion which was really satisfying, which I would like to actually share with you, because maybe it also has like a very eye-opening effect. And unfortunately I might have to disappoint you, because there is no humanized figure behind the clouds who creates everything and directs everything and is behind everything and sees everything. This mysterious power, force or energy is consciousness. So basically everything in this world is made out of consciousness, or actually is consciousness. And many times people go to see spiritual teachers to ask them if a rock has consciousness, if a tree has consciousness, if a twig has consciousness, if water has consciousness. And actually nothing has consciousness, because that's the misconception we all are living in, or almost everybody, that in this bag of flesh there is consciousness, because there is no consciousness in this bag of flesh, because this bag of flesh appears in consciousness, or is made out of consciousness, or is pure consciousness, but there is no consciousness in this bag of flesh. And which gets me to a really terrible piece of truth, that there is no individual, personal, localized consciousness. There is only universal consciousness. And to be even more radical, God is actually oneness or unity, which might look like this or like this, and might feel like this. So what is this life actually about? And what is God really up to? And the truth is that in oneness and unity there is no experience. There might be bliss or joy, but God can only experience itself when it splits into a million small pieces that mirror its pure nature. And we come here as God to rediscover our true nature and our magnificence, because at the beginning we still remember who we are, and then gradually we get more and more lost in our mind, and we completely forget what we are, and we forget the great talents and gifts that we have got to bring into the world. And then piece after piece we have to put the puzzle together and remember that we're actually God who came here to rediscover his magnificence, or its magnificence. And we've really got great talents and gifts, like intuition, like a gut feeling, like intuition, like telepathy, like a gut feeling, like inspiration, which is spirits talking to us and giving us directions where to go. And we all have a very nice and fulfilling purpose to bring into the world. And when we find our purpose, which we find inside, we don't find it outside in the world. When we find our purpose, we bring that into the world unconditionally and out of love in order to give, and not because we want something, doing things out of inadequacy and insecurity or lack or scarcity or fear. And that's when we actually discover our magnificence as God, who hasn't had the experience of himself in unity. And that's the reason we come here. And that's also the biggest reason for all the conflicts and wars and destruction we have in the world, because people don't really remember who they are, and they're looking in the outside world to fill that inner void with all kinds of things, with fame, money, power, doing all kinds of things to compensate for their inner lack. And that's the reason the world is in the state it is. And it is also said that we cannot change the world. We can only change ourselves by rediscovering who we are. There's actually another very important and popular question many people ask, and it is, why doesn't God prevent all these wars and all these conflicts and all this destruction? And as already said, God is consciousness and God is unity, and he doesn't have a direct impact on the material world, but needs us as a middleman. And I think it's a fact that people who listen to their intuition, to their gut feeling, and to inspiration have a very positive impact and work for the benefit of it all. And also it seems like there are energetic changes in the whole universe which have an impact on us, which open new doors within us, because right now it seems like a lot of people are going through severe changes within themselves, and we cannot run away from our feelings anymore, and we have to face everything that comes up. Our compensation and coping mechanism and survival strategies don't work anymore. So there is some kind of energetic impact, but God cannot really do something directly with the material world, because he has to come here as us, as a middleman, to bring his purpose and bring his love, actually unconditionally love, into the world. And actually we have to understand that everything we meet in the outside world is an aspect of ourselves, and treat it accordingly with love, respect, reverence and awe. There is a greeting in the Mayan or Incan tradition which says in Lakesh, which translated means I see myself in you, or I see the divinity in you, because everything we meet outside of ourselves is also divine. And I find it very helpful to see every other person with their peculiarities as a choice of God to live that specific life here and to respect it. What we essentially are has never been born and will never die. And it's the mind and the ego that turns in circles with these thought patterns that keep us trapped with this constant I, and we believe and buy into that I, and that's why we are trapped. And to get out of this, it is so important to really see that we cannot find a localized self within us. And so we are basically here for God playing hide and seek with himself in order to rediscover his magnificence and his greatness and his great gifts and talents and bring them into the world unconditionally. And therefore it's a great disrespect towards our own true nature if we don't have the courage to live our own lives. And that's also what we do on the Just Pure Being Nature retreats. We rediscover who and what we really are with a lot of different activities. And if you're curious, I'm looking forward to meeting you soon if you'd like to have a different experience. And to say it one more time, God comes here as us to rediscover his magnificence and to bring his purpose into the world. And I said his, I wanted to say it's, but I'm not going to change this recording anymore. So I think I've said everything I wanted to say, and I'm really looking forward to meeting you if you'd really like to have a different experience. And take care. Bye-bye. And my name is Oliver Farago. I'm the face behind the Just Pure Being Nature Retreats.